today we have an amazing guest, beaming with health and happiness. We have Marcus Watts. I recently met him here in LA, and he has quite a story, quite a health journey of when he went plant-based a few years ago. And he's recently gone high raw and had some great experiences with that. And he's also released a lot of parasites on his health journey. So we're going to talk about that, find out what he did to cleanse, spirituality, so much more. So stick around to the end. Let's hop into it. Hey, Marcus, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're such good vibes. I met you at the event the other day. I'm like, well, how come I haven't met this guy before? You're just like radiating health and happiness.
Yeah.
And was it always this way? Or do you feel like the plants really amplified that?
I would say I've always been a pretty positive-minded person.
Yeah.
Especially because my family has always facilitated love and just positive vibes everywhere we go.
That's so good.
That has been kind of ingrained in me for a long period of time. But when we start adding in the plants and the plant-based life, it's only amplified it even more.
It's another level.
Another level.
So around 2020, you tried plant-based. You didn't eat plant-based before that. So how did you eat before that? And what inspired you to try plant-based? And then what happened?
So I grew up eating everything, everything,
Yeah,
you name it. And it's a funny running joke that my family were always like, hey, Marcus, you want to finish this? We'd be at a restaurant. You want to finish that?
Yeah.
And I'll finish it because I was hungry.
Yeah.
I can just eat.
Yeah.
And so the transition towards plant-based started in 2020. And we don't really have to talk about all that would happen. We already know. We've lived through 2020
Yeah, we all
what that
know.
is. And in that time, I just opened my mind. My mind was open to wanting to know how I can up-level my health. And even before that, I grew up an athlete. And so always wanting to perform better has always been a thing. So whenever I'd heard a newer or better thing to do, whether it be a different workout or a sleep routine or breathing and things like that, supplements back in the day, I would implement it and see how my body reacted. And it's always been natural that way.
Yeah.
So 2020 and even leading up to 2020, I've always been in that mode where in the beginning, it's knowing that quality matters. And even when I was eating meat and stuff, it started with eating conventional, pound of ground turkey a day, 8 eggs a day.
Really?
8 eggs a day.
Oh my gosh.
Every single day.
And a pound of turkey all in the same day?
Basically.
Well,
And then
I guess a lot of
chicken
people
breasts,
do that.
kind of like the
High
bodybuilder mentality. And, you do get bigger and you can build muscle, but it's the quality of the muscles that you're building and not having that connection to the inflammation and all the other problems that were present. I had bad acne.
You did?
Terrible.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And that stemmed back all the way to middle school, high school.
But even in adulthood, you had
Adulthood,
it still? Wow.
yeah. And I noticed that when I started upping my quality, just even organic, things started shifting and I felt more energy.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to eat as much too.
Yeah.
So this whole idea that organic's so expensive, in the beginning, the initial point, maybe, but as you start up leveling, your body can then absorb more things, right? So you
Yeah.
don't need to eat as much.
No.
So I noticed that.
True. I hear a lot of people say that. Yeah.
And so we fast forward 2020, it's about August, and I came across Game Changers. That was really the biggest game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally a game changer for deciding to go plant-based. And I watched it, and because being an athlete, I'm like, okay, if these Olympic athletes, these ultra marathon runners, these college, these NFL stars, all switched, and they're saying nothing but benefits have happened since that point, I'm like, okay, might as well try. But then also in that year, I was just saturating my mind with different health talks and things. So getting a foundational understanding of our bodies regenerate every 7 years, basically.
True.
And so that going into the decision to do plant-based, I had that long-term, like, okay, what if I did this for 7 years and I'm a brand new person? Like, what? That's kind of like the long-term vision on it.
Look at it like that.
But then also going day by day and realizing that it's a journey and not have to go like too perfect.
True.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, then you can feel restricted and maybe want to binge or something. And you look really fit. Like, you look good. You look healthy. Did you find going plant-based you lost a lot of muscle, or like you lost a lot, or you still feel like it's good? You look great to me.
I lost weight, but that weight that and I don't even like saying lost because I don't want to find it. So we released it.
True. It sounds like Elizabeth. Do you follow Dr. Elizabeth? She talks like that. Yeah.
I'll have to check.
Shout out Elizabeth. I love you. She's a close friend of mine. Yeah, you're right. I like that. See, you're so into spirituality, law of attraction, all this stuff. So it makes sense to me that you attracted to this lifestyle because it's such a high vibe lifestyle.
It is.
And you're such a positive, optimistic, happy person. Like, you totally suit this lifestyle.
For sure.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I released as well is inflammation. And when I went plant-based originally, I did a 6-day, or it was supposed to be 10-day cleanse. And I did it with a buddy, and he was a day behind me. So I was, a day ahead. And when I got to day 6, he got to day 5. He's like, bro, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, no way.
I said, no, man, we're right here. Let's
What was
do
the
it.
cleanse? What?
There's this woman on Instagram named I'm Surviving Vegan.
Yeah.
She's out of Miami.
Yeah.
And she was talking about this 10-day detox and stuff. And I don't know, something called me to do it. And it was all around like eating cantaloupe and lentil soup and different stages, right?
Yeah.
And so I was right there, but my friend kind of helped influence me to just stop because it was challenging. Yeah. And I was going into it pretty blind. Yeah. Like straight off. Like, I think I watched Game Changers on a Friday and I said, all right, Monday, I'll do the cleanse. Like,
wow. And then, a lot of people don't know how to start, what to do. Right. So you did the cleanse. And then what about after that?
So I did that cleanse. I quit on day 6. That evening, his girlfriend made us like just a meal, and it was like a shrimp bowl. Yeah. And I ate the shrimp bowl. Yeah. And I did not feel good after. No. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to just stick to this plant-based life. Yeah. You know, and just maybe not go full-fledged into a deeper cleanse right away. Let's just enjoy the process. Yeah. You know? So. Awesome. Ever since that, like, one of my friends had reached out to me and noticed different shifts, maybe energetic, but also in that whole time. And even now, I constantly post like health things or spirituality things. And
you're so positive. I love it. Like, even to be around you, I feel like happier. It's hard not to feel happy around you. Like, you put out such good energy.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think with law of attraction, it makes sense. What you put out, you receive back dividends. So even in just our thoughts, even if we're not putting it out like verbally, even with what we think, right? Do you think it's like to that level? Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. It's like the quality of our food, it's the quality of our thoughts, it's the quality of literally the quality of everything will determine your quality of life. Even like we were talking about before we got on here, like even what we listen to with music and stuff, we have to be careful, right? Yeah. And it's like positive vibe, not like stuff that like weakens our body and stuff like that, like negative lyrics and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And I became more sensitive to those types of songs or frequencies. I mean, you can go deep into the frequency stuff, but also at that same time, it felt like there was a whole world that I had no clue about. You know, you realize you don't know anything. There's so many levels to awareness. And at the time, it was 29 years of eating in a certain way that I never felt the next level up. You know, before I went plant-based, I thought I was top already. But realizing that with those obstructions and inflammation and toxins and all that stuff, and parasites, of course, that is sucking your energy or tapping into your vital energy. So when you release that stuff, then you regain your quality energy, and then you can direct it in different ways. So,
and you got into some cleansing too. So was
Yeah.
that before you went raw? And I want to hear what happened, or not raw, high raw. I want to hear what happened when you started incorporating more raw. But so when did you were talking to me before about doing mono fruit cleansing, stuff like that too?
Yeah. So the mono fruit and the raw, everything kind of has happened within the last 5 months since this year.
And you've noticed a difference?
Big difference.
Wow.
So, well, we can go back. After I did that cleanse, and then the first cleanse in August, I then didn't finish. So then I said, okay, I'm going to add in just the plant-based stuff. Even that transition is challenging because now you have to look at things that you're purchasing and buying more critically, and realizing that there's a lot of conventional stuff with just bad ingredients, like a lot of milk and dehydrated stuff, eggs.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the hardest ones to move away from, just because I didn't have a replacement. There's they call this law of vacuum, right? When you take something out, something always fills its place. So the key that I found is making sure that I have something to fill it that's healthy, So when we take eggs away, maybe we'll do some flax eggs or applesauce and these little things. But that takes some time to tune your vision to that, or tune your reticular activating system in your brain to see that,
For sure.
So I had a friend that reached out and was like, hey, I see that you've shifted some stuff and I'd love to catch up. So we got on a conversation, and I was telling her how important soil health is, and that our soils are getting sprayed like by the billions of glyphosate and all these pesticides. And I didn't know where to find like real quality stuff. And she happened to say, hey, I have this cleanse that might be in your alignment. And so in December, I decided to do, it was a 30-day cleanse at first, and then it could extend out. So I was like, all right, I'll full send this 30-day cleanse. I'm not going to work out because I want to see the quality of this stuff, and some of the stuff helps remove glyphosate out of the gut and things. And there's a parasite cleanse in that. And at the time, there was different schedules of how you can incorporate them. Pretty much regenerative, agricultural, grown superfoods. And I chose what they called the accelerated schedule. So like level 2, kind of just intuitively. And so in the middle of the whole thing, there's parasite cleanse. And it was kind of pretty regulated, where every 2 hours you're doing something, whether it be some superfood greens and some aminos and the parasite herbs, all throughout for 10 days. And thankfully in that time, we were locked at home. So I didn't have much to do outside. So I really had that time to be with myself. Which parasite cleanse in general,
intense, right?
It can be intense.
With all the herbs and stuff, it's intense.
And like the die off, when they start dying off, like we don't realize that parasites have emotions too, or they take on your emotions.
It's crazy.
So when they die off and they're like, yo, feed me with the bad stuff.
It's great. They say they can control our behavior and our thinking and everything.
So there was like that roller coaster ride for those 10 days. But on the other side of it, it was like a whole different world. Where I didn't realize what brain fog really meant. I thought I was functioning pretty fast, pretty direct and sharp. But after you go through a cleansing process, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, as Steve Jobs talks about. You can't connect them going forward. You can always connect them looking back. And so looking back and knowing how I felt back then, totally different world.
It's such a life changer.
It's life change.
Right?
And that much of a shift, it's the energy, the recovery, the clarity, all that stuff. It's something that I could never see myself going back to the old way. I can't see it. And people ask me all the time, oh, don't you miss X, Y, and Z? I'm like, not really, because I have the memory of it. And all of our life, it's meant to unfold in a certain way. You're supposed to learn lessons along the way. And so I have that memory. So whenever I want to revisit, let's say like In-N-Out Burger or something like that, I remember all the times I ate In-N-Out Burger. And I'm good off that from how I'm feeling now.
Yeah.
You know,
that's good. And I think we have to remember like the bad associated with it. You know, we often like romanticize things like the coffee, the pizza, the ice cream, the In-N-Out and all this, and just think, oh, like, but it's a lot of like bad effects.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's good to like try to just associate that when we think about it rather than like the dreamy side of it.
Exactly.
And like, does it benefit my body? You know, no. Right.
Yeah.
So you've noticed a big change. And with the parasites, like, did you expect to see parasites when you did that cleanse? Probably, I'm guessing probably not. Like,
so,
I don't know.
Back then, I didn't know what to expect or anything. I didn't look. I didn't really check like I've done this year. And that's been the big, even more shift. So after that first 30-day cleanse, I just continued on the lifestyle for the last, even till now. So
yeah.
In that process, having fun with the different cooked foods, and I love curry and all that stuff. But as I've moved through the last few years, it's just so fascinating to me to learn more about one, how our body operates and how it functions at its highest.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's total reprogramming and unlearning the past, because we grew up with things from our parents, from our grandparents that passed down that, you know, they're not serving us, honestly.
It's true.
They're not serving us.
Yeah.
And also there was such a huge transition from our parents to our grandparents, and all this chemicalization,
all the
and
processed
pesticide processed food that wasn't around, like GMOs. They weren't around really when our grandparents were alive.
True.
So they saw an apple, and it was an apple from the tree.
Yeah.
And not like a fake apple.
Yeah.
You know?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of shifts in that, and understanding that real, organic, whole foods is the way.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to add too is, even when I decided to go plant-based, you know, you look at people in society that go vegan, and for me, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that I am portraying like the healthy version of it, and no shade, because I definitely ate processed vegan stuff. We go through that process, right? But realizing that the true health comes from the whole foods.
Yeah.
That's a key.
100%.
1,000.
Yeah. That's the real key, I feel like.
Yeah.
And so you did, like, what, I forget if we said them all, but like, what would you say the benefits or the differences were you felt being plant-based to high raw? Okay.
Plant-based is part of the transition, I'd say. I just recently read The Mucusless Diet.
Yeah, it's good. I've read
that.
That.
Arnold Ehret.
Yeah.
And it's great because not everyone can just jump. Let's say standard American diet today, jump to fruitarian tomorrow. That's like impossible.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
not impossible, but there's going to be a lot of things that start getting released. And if you're not ready for that, like that can be really detrimental.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd say the last 3-ish years have been a decent
Good transition.
transition. With the plant-based stuff, the cooked.
Yeah.
You know, I had some fun. There's great cooked stuff out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the universe has brought me in front of higher levels of consciousness.
Yeah.
And especially watching all the people that you interview and their long-term lifestyle of raw and living and fruitarian and all this stuff, that just inspired me to be like, okay, let's try it. Let's just see. Because every year I do at least 2 parasite cleanses.
Wow.
Just to
they say we should do them regularly.
Yeah.
Because I'm friends with, you know, Julie Brar. Do you know
Yeah,
her?
yeah.
She came on the channel.
She's
I think
a
she
friend.
said she knows you. Yeah. So I think she said she does them regularly too.
Right.
And she has like a protocol. So like, what was your protocol? If someone's watching, they're like, how do I know if I have them? How do I get them out? Like, what would you suggest knowing what you know now? Or like, how did you get them out? Certain foods or certain herbs?
Yeah, so it's a mix of things. I'll say this. A huge difference is when you add living food. Like in your lifestyle.
Yeah.
When you make that shift from just cooked plant-based to raw, like the frequency of that itself you'll start to release. But the protocol that I had was a combination of different herbs. So wormwood, amalaki fruit, cascara sagrada, clove, a couple other, you know, anti-parasitics.
Yep.
Mix that with some superfoods that you take on a regular schedule. And by day 4, and I incorporated the living, like just fruits mainly, smoothies. By day 4, I used the restroom and I looked and I was like, that is not what it usually looks like.
That's crazy.
It was like worms and stuff.
It's crazy,
and I'm like,
right?
okay.
It's crazy though. What can be inside of us, right? And once you start cleansing.
It was crazy.
Wow.
So I was like, I've never seen that amount, like hundreds. And I was going, I don't know how graphic.
No, it's okay. We're like that on this channel.
Okay.
And I had them before too.
Yeah, I'm with the Q-tip. I'm like, how can I go through this and see with the Q-tip?
Well, because it's interesting. It's like, what's in my body?
Right.
What? Right?
It's like, I eat healthy. You know, we have this idea. We eat healthy, but there's...
And you didn't have symptoms of them, probably, right? No, I was like that too, way back when I did it.
Yeah, it was.
But if you do it twice a year, I'm thinking I should do another one.
Yeah.
And the superfoods, like I know for me, so I did enemas with herbs. I used Marcus Rothkrantz has a parasite-free herbal cleanse, so I used that with enemas and all raw and foods that killed them off. They say, which worked for me, which is pineapple, pumpkin seeds, garlic, onion. They say papaya seeds, but I don't like papaya seeds. And then I forget there were a couple more, onion and garlic. Yeah. But what about you? Like, what were your superfoods?
Yeah, superfoods. It's a combination of regeneratively grown, volcanic, mineral-rich soil.
Whoa.
And it's literally a game changer. Reach out to me directly.
Yeah.
And we can talk more. But it's literally been the game changer just because of the living component and that soil quality.
Wow. That's interesting. I never heard of this. Okay.
Yeah.
For the parasite stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Makes sense. You feel better. You're getting them out. How do you like for me, I just kept doing it until I didn't see anymore. Did you do that?
I mean.
Or are you just like still seeing them?
So I'm still seeing them. Literally yesterday. And I'm not even on parasite herbs or anything.
No.
But I've been let's see, I've been like 95.5 raw.
Yeah. That's
lately.
Good. That's good.
I mean, the other day I celebrated and had like banana pudding or bread pudding and some fruit cobbler.
Yeah.
And so that was like cooked. And what was interesting with this sensitivity of like when you clean your vessel, you notice when your body's creating like mucus or, the defense. I literally, as I was eating it, like some mucus was coming out my nose and my throat kind of clogged up a
I
little
noticed
bit.
that too. If I have something that's like
Yeah.
not even some raw like gourmet or some stuff is too heavy or not like the mucus creating, I
Yeah.
notice that like quickly too.
Right.
So that's great about cleaning out. We really become in tune with like what's good for us and what's not good for us.
Right.
And we want to live our best life, right? And we do that by
Exactly.
feeding like what's good for us. That's one thing we have control over, you know?
Mhm.
So it's changed your life, this health journey. Like you
Oh
feel like
my
you're in a way better
gosh.
place today versus going back to 2020 if you never embarked on any of this.
Way better. I mean, and then looking back even further into my upbringing and things like, you know, we all grew up on Tricks Are for Kids and all these things.
Yeah.
I used to eat that like by the bowls.
Me too. Lucky
Like
Charms
3
and stuff.
at a time.
Yeah, I
and
get
I'd
it.
still be hungry.
Yeah.
But why was I still hungry? Because there was no actual minerals and things in that.
Yeah, you're
So,
starving for nutrients.
Yeah, your body's like, come on, like we notice you're chewing, you're swallowing, but what is this? You
It's
know?
crazy what we're doing still. And it's crazy that the world is still so much like that.
Yeah.
Because like I have 2 little kids. It's crazy that the processed food is still such a maybe it's even bigger
Mhm.
than when I grew up in the 80s and 90s. It's such a big thing now too. I just, you know, would love to see it change.
Seriously.
Yeah, so let's make better choices, you guys, for ourselves,
Seriously.
for our kids, because we want to live long lives too, right? That's part of the
Right.
reason I do this. At 41, I want to be like Lou Corona.
Yeah.
I want to be like Chef Babette.
Yeah.
Like, do you know Chef Babette?
Yeah.
I just interviewed her. We just went there the other day. She's 73. She
Amazing.
is insane. Like her body is so ripped. She is so fit. I think she said she can do 200 push-ups. Was it 200
Wow.
or 100? Like I went and tried. I couldn't
Impressive.
even do like 2 or 3. I'm like, this is nuts. And then Lou Corona, like these people I see who take really good care of themselves. They're either high raw or all raw. They're like,
Yeah.
they're living long, fulfilling, healthy lives.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we want. We want to live our best life while we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the quality of your life. That's really it. It's not necessarily the focus living to 150, you know. But hey, if you can, why not?
Yeah.
If your vital energy is up too, like an experience, because
Yeah.
there's so many beautiful things like
True.
in this world. You know, just
Yeah.
traveling. I mean, you're here from Toronto.
Yeah.
In LA. Like,
Yeah.
what is your experience with
I
that?
love it.
You
I
love it.
love traveling. And especially like, I don't think I would love it as much if I wasn't raw.
Mm-hmm.
And I make raw work no matter where I go, even if I'm traveling. And it just gives me that energy, the high vibe and like the excitement, like a little kid. Like I love traveling all over. We have so much fun together,
Yeah.
you know? And I wasn't the same person like that before I ate raw
Right.
living foods. So the food makes you feel alive. The plant foods, like they're nurturing, they're healing. They just lead you to your higher self, your best self.
Right.
Do you feel like that? Like
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like my best self, like my highest self, my real self on the raw foods. I feel a difference and I feel a bit disconnected and blocked off and brain fog and all that on the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
And we have a choice.
Exactly.
So why not choose like the better life? It's like, you know, let's not be owned by the alcohol, the crap, you know, and let it lead us to a bad life.
It's tough. It's a tough battle because at all levels, I mean, the chemicals in the food are creating this dopamine. So, you know, you're drawn to it. And these other addictive things, it's hard to break out of that, you know, unless you get a taste of that better life or that
Yeah.
higher frequency or energy.
Yeah, unless you know, kind of.
Or, you know, God forbid, you know, something extreme happens that wakes you up.
Yeah. Which is
to
the case for a lot of people,
most
which is
people.
what turns a lot of people healthy, right?
Right.
Because something happens. But
Yeah.
I mean, even if someone's out there and they're not having like a life-threatening thing or a really bad thing, you might not even realize how different you might feel doing this, you know?
Yeah.
How the quality of your life might change, like the brain fog, all the different things.
Right.
And we're going to ask the last guest for each interview to come up with a question for the next guest. So he had this idea and I love it. So let's pick the question she had. She was amazing. Her name was Zena. Zena, right? Was it Zena? Yeah. She's cool. She was 61.
Wow.
She is so ripped and she's been high raw for like 31 years. And
Incredible.
she looks so healthy in her 60s, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm
that
excited to hear the story.
Yeah, it was really good. I love your positivity. And so her question was, how long do you think this lifestyle will remain a part of your life?
This lifestyle will remain forever in my current
Yeah.
state because it's only getting better as time goes on. And I was blessed enough to be in the presence of Lou the other day. And that's the same thing that he said. The longer you're on this lifestyle, it keeps getting better. And him doing it for 53 years or so, he's like, I'm still feeling better. It's like,
and he is like, the guy has energy of a 10-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like legit.
Literally.
I've never seen anything like it.
Me neither.
Yeah. That's what inspires me too. Meeting all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just that, like, I can only imagine how good he feels with that consistency over time, because I've gone through a process myself. I think people that go through a process of detoxification and regeneration, you notice the shift from before, and it's like opening the lid off. And so there's more levels. So those levels can keep going as you continue to live that vitality filled lifestyle.
It's a really truly up leveling lifestyle.
Yeah.
And for anybody who's wondering, because I don't think I asked, what does a day of eating look like for you now, or like high raw?
Yeah.
Because you're feeling good, right? We want to know what it is you're doing.
I'm mainly eating fruits.
Fruits are good.
Today I had today I had a honeydew.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Honeydew's
thus far.
good.
And some tea.
Really?
Honeydew and some herbal tea.
And then what'll dinner look like, or lunch?
I'll probably put on a smoothie.
Oh yeah. Oh. So we need to stir it. This was sitting for a long time.
Snap.
We have some lemon ginger blast that Lou Corona made. So Marcus just tried it before, and Lou puts so much habanero in his, but you liked it. So yeah, what will dinner look like?
Dinner, probably a smoothie.
Yeah.
I had a smoothie last night. Actually, I had 2 smoothies in a row.
Yeah, smoothies are good.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
You
can put a lot of different things in there. Got a lot of nutrients.
Frozen blueberries, strawberries, dates. I mean, I love dates.
Me too. They're good.
I know that it's, more of the dried fruit, but
they're good.
It's so good.
Me too. They are good.
They're so good.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
Any other like words of inspiration to share? Because I just feel like you're this vessel of wisdom and inspiration. Anything else you feel called to share with the audience? And then also let everybody know where they can find you. I think you're so awesome. Everybody go follow Marcus. I'll put everything below as well.
Yeah. So I would say just follow your gut, and knowing that a healthier lifestyle is a journey and a process, and it's not about being perfect. It's about being 1% better every day. It's, not reaching for that thing that you have been addicted to that can be the factor in how you're feeling every day. That's in negative. Just find those swaps. I mean, we're in a blessed time right now where there's a lot of options that are healthy, and the swap from the unhealthy to the unhealthy, that in itself is a huge shift. And you can start to notice those shifts in how you feel throughout the day. And just trust the process and know that it's not just this. It will be down some days, it might be up some days, but that's just part of the process.
True. And you do fall in love with the foods, because when you're saying that about the foods, like the substitutes and stuff, like you do fall in love with the foods, even if it takes a bit for your gut microbiome to change or the taste buds to change. You get to a point where you just really love the plant foods, right? Yeah. Your
taste buds change, and you realize, I just like these healthy things better than the unhealthy things.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. Thanks for gracing us with
you.
your presence. Thanks for coming
Gillian.
out. You're such a light in this world. I think you're so amazing. I'm so glad I met you.
I'm so glad I met you too. And this has been an awesome conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you for doing all that you're doing.
Of course,
and putting people out there sharing their stories. And
I'm happy to.
It's super inspirational to me. So
good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear. Okay, everybody go follow Marcus. He's a great Instagram. I'll put that below. And where else can they find you? Do you have ebooks or like anything you want to pump?
I'm just on Instagram thus far. So there'll be more things to come.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
feel like there's gonna be a lot to come from you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your
Definitely.
journey's only just getting started,
Just
especially
starting.
with you on this raw. You're gonna go to another level.
Oh
You're
my
already on a
gosh.
high level of like spirituality and consciousness.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you're gonna create.
Thank you.
Yeah, so everybody go follow and be sure to follow, subscribe to this channel if you don't already for more amazing content just like this one. We love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Peace.